start. I was saying that it's been an awesome time together with everyone on the call, and we started with Reverend John Jinka Adepoju 2 weeks ago on the future of. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, I can hear you.
So I said we started a series on the future of leadership in Nigeria, and also good evening to everyone, and thank you for joining us on the call. It's been such an awesome time talking about the future of leadership in Nigeria, leading with purpose. And we now have a guest speaker that will be taking it further with us. His name is Dr. Ibikunolu Babarinde, and is a senior lecturer at the University of Lancashire, United Kingdom. And we'll be starting with introduction of everyone on the call before we move to the lecture, and then we move to the question and answer. So sorry for the back and forth. We just had our Zoom Pro updated, so I've been trying to sort it out. That was and the network issue, but now I believe it's stable. So we'll just start. Over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much for the opportunity that you've given unto me to be here today to speak to you. It is indeed a very wonderful honor to be here, and it has given me opportunity to reflect on what younger people are doing in Nigeria, the sort of things that fascinate them, and things that are of interest to them. And it's a great thing that in the midst of all the noise, that pervades the internet and social media, some people take time to pull together, to intellectualize, to rub minds, and to make provision for the future in terms of leadership. Leadership, as you know, is a very interesting topic and a very critical one for any nation, for any organization, for uh, even an individual. There's a question of leadership. So this question can be asked at several levels, at many layers. As it were, the layer at which we will be exploring today is at the layer of the nation building. Of course, we know that we can't build a nation without the individual. So some of the things that I'll be speaking today will be addressing the individual and the role of the individual in the puzzle coming together to form this big image of leadership. Also, as part of the core or central to the theme or the topic this evening is the concept of the future. Concept of the future. I think I'm going to start by addressing that. What's really do we mean by future? Uh, you know, it's a common balance. Leaders of tomorrow, leaders of tomorrow, leaders of tomorrow. We've always been told that as if something's going to come in the future. But I really advise us or invite us to rethink the definition of future. I will say the future is just the next moment. It's as close to you as the lines on the palm of your hand. It's as close to you as the next second or next minute. So it should not be seen as something that is far, far, far flung or far away in some kind of galaxy. So the future is actually now. The future is actually now. So if we are preparing for the future, we will be preparing for now. So it's of essence. It is of a great essence when we think of leadership as something that is required now and not in the future. So without deconstructing or rearranging the topic. So if we talk about the future of leadership in Nigeria, we'll talk about the actually the feature or what should be leadership in Nigeria now. Okay, now. And the other part of the topic is when we talk about essentials, the things that are required in this 21st century. 21st century itself, I think, is now becoming mature. Okay, it's no longer something that is quite new to us. Many of us were, I believe, everyone in this call, maybe not. Okay, if you were born in the 2000, maybe not. But if you were born just in the 90s or late 90s, we knew when we were, coming into this millennium, and it was something that was presented to us as some sort of a faraway idea or incident. But alas, we are into it now. 25 years into this millennia, I would say that 21st century is not a new idea anymore. Rather, it's one that is rapidly changing, and we have a lot of catching up to do with it. So it's just like the day that breaks in the morning and races to dawn to dusk in the evening. So what do we need at this time? At this time. So I will not be speaking to you from any textbook, even though I'm an academic. I will be speaking to you on from a very common sense point of view, with some insights that I'll be drawing upon. I have identified five key issues that I regard, of course, that is popularly regarded as features or essentials for leadership. Some
Yes, sir.
very important.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. So I want to say that since you said we will start with introduction
Oh,
before
okay.
before you continue, so that after the introduction, we'll take a brief citation of you, then we'll dive into it.
Okay. Thank you
Yes,
for stopping me in my track then. So let's do that.
yes. So, like after should we take the citation first, or should it be after the introduction part?
Well, you do the citation first then. Do the
Okay,
citation first, yes.
okay. So, we welcome once again everyone to this online leadership series. I am David Ogunlade, and we have with us Dr. Ibikunolu Babarinde. And Dr. Ibikunolu David Babarinde is a senior lecturer and course leader in the School of Business, University of Lancashire, United Kingdom, formerly known as University of Central Lancashire. Dr. Babarinde teaches and researches in the broad field of work, employment, and industrial relations. He is also very grounded in the field of strategic leadership and management. He is educated at the University of Ibadan, Nigeria, for his bachelor's degree in agricultural extension and rural development in 2008. Dr. Babarinde later obtained a dual award of Masters of Arts degree in Human Resource Management from the University of Wolverhampton with Chartered Institute of Personnel Development, CIPD, in 2011. Dr. Babarinde won a competitive 1+3 Kingston University's Faculty of Business and Law PhD studentship in October 2015 for a year Masters of Research in Business and Management for a second master's degree and 3 years PhD program in management, specializing human resource management, employment, industrial resources. Dr. Babarinde is an outstanding academic. He has published in Work, Employment and Society, WES, one of the highest ranking academic journal in his field. He has held a number of visiting associate external examiner positions in a number of UK universities, including at University of Warwick, Coventry, and Kingston, London, before he became an academic. Dr. Babarinde has worked in the field of human capital development in Nigeria and in the UK. He continues to work with practitioners in the field through several collaboration projects. Dr. Babarinde has a track record of commitment to youth development in youth development initiatives. He once worked with the student ministries of the Nigerian Baptist Convention for more than a decade in various roles, and he relishes every opportunity to continue to do so. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome with me, Dr. David Ibikunolu Babarinde.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Yeah, nice to meet you. So, is this the place where I meet everybody else?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, how do we take it in turns? Are you going to coordinate that?
Yes, sir. We just have we have 33 people on the call now, 34 now. So we won't want it to model up. So we just have a few people to just introduce themselves if they can unmute their microphone. Then yes.
Okay. Yeah, do that then. You do that.
So okay, I will just call us and then you unmute yourself and then I'll start with Abdulatif Tinmi Sokpe. Am I right? So just unmute yourself and introduce yourself, probably your name and your school. That's all. And if you are not a student, probably an organization you work with.
Okay.
Okay. Good evening, sir. My name is Abdulatif Abdulaziz Temitope. I am from Oyo State, a graduate of political science, and I'm currently serving in Plateau State at the Plateau State University.
Right.
Oh, great. Nice to meet you, Abdulatif. Adeyeri Bolade Damilola. Okay. Adeosun Suliat. Just unmute your microphone and then you can speak. All right. So, all well, Tayo. All right. Remu Gladys Uluwatosin. Okay. Dalhat Abubakar Dalhat.
Hello.
Hi. Good
Hello.
evening. Hi. Good evening.
Hi. Talat Abubakar from Ahmadu Bello University, Faculty of Law.
It's nice having you on the call, Dalhat. Daniel Holajide. Okay. Dunamis. All right.
Hi, good evening, sir.
Hi,
Good evening, it's Dunamis.
Hi, good evening, Dunamis.
I'm Otu Dunamis and I study in the Federal University of Technology, Akure.
So nice to have you on the call, Dunamis. I think Daniel can
Thank
take it.
you.
Yeah, good evening, Mr. David, and good evening to our host. Yeah, my name is Daniel Oladide, a building student from Obafemi Awolowo University.
So nice to have you on the call,
Yes, sir.
Daniel. Elizabeth Olajumoke. All right, Emmanuel. Does Elizabeth want to take it now?
Yeah. Good evening, everyone.
Good
Fayomi
evening.
Elizabeth Olajumoke from Obafemi Awolowo University. So it's so nice to be on this program. Thank you so much, David Ogulade, and to our speaker, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right. We have Hallwell raise a hand. Let's take you now, Hallwell.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, everyone. My name is
Good.
Tayo Olwell. I'm a recent graduate, and I stay in Oyo State.
All right. Nice to have you on the call. Emmanuel. Okay, Eniola Thomas. All right, Esther Holatimeng. Okay, Emmanuel.
Good evening, sir. I'm Emmanuel Olanirugun, a student of Lautech. It's nice to have you on the call, sir.
You're welcome, Emmanuel. Esther Holatimeng.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Yeah, my name is Thomas Eniola from Faculty of Global Knowledge.
All right, nice to have you on the call. Esther Holatimeng.
Good evening. My name is Esther Olatime, and I'm from the Department of English, Obafemi Awolowo University.
Nice to have you on the call, Esther. Fatu Kasi Jeanette Tolulope.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. My name is Denise Fatukasi. I'm from Faculty of Law, Obafemi Awolowo University. Nice to meet you, sir.
Oh, nice to have you on the call, Jeanette. Fisayo.
Good evening, sir. Hello.
We can hear you. You can speak.
Good evening, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Okay, let's.
My name is Alabi Sunday Elisha. I'm from Obafemi University.
Nice to have you on the call, Mr. Sunday.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir. We can hear you.
It's network.
Okay, let's.
Hello.
Hello, can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, I think I had Mr. Sunday Alabi.
Yes. Okay.
Good evening. My name is Abdul Majid Abdulrazak from Ibikunolu University.
All right, nice to have you on the call, Mr. Abdul.
Yeah, my name is Alabi Sunday Elisha from Estate Management Department, Obafemi University. Currently in my part 5. I'm glad to be on this meeting tonight. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Nice to have you on the call, Mr. Sunday. Let's take Edna Pell.
Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Yeah, my name is Kola Oleoluwapalumi. Yeah, as this is Edna too. So I'm a student of Obafemi Awolowo from Faculty of Law, Part 3. Yes, and I'm glad to be here. And I hope I came with expectations.
All right.
So thank you so much.
All right.
Good evening, sir.
Florence. Good evening, Mr. Majid. Yeah, nice to have you on the call as well.
Good evening, everyone. I am Florence Abasimono Soluwa, a 300 level student of Obafemi Awolowo University. Thanks for having me on this platform. Thank you very much.
Okay, it's nice to have you on the call, Florence. Ellen Abadoni.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, sir. I am a Part 3 student from the Department of English, Obafemi Awolowo University. It's so good to be here this evening. Thank you for having us.
Okay, yeah, welcome to the call. It's glad to have you here. Ishaku Joseph Waje.
All right. Hello, good evening. I am Ishaku Joseph Waje. I'm a Part 3 law student at Obafemi Awolowo University. It's nice to meet everyone here.
All right. Okay, we received the text from the chat. We'll make sure we wrap up now. It's our guest that demands to meet most of us on the call. So let's just have it that once we call you, then you say your name, so that once we've called past your name, you don't have to speak again. So once we call you, just tell us your name, your course, and your school. Then So let's take Israel Damilare Adeleke.
Good evening, everyone. I am Israel Adeleke. I study mechanical engineering in the Federal University of Technology, Akure. It feels so good to be here.
Oh, nice to have you on the call. Lawal Usman Olarewaju. Lamidi Read One Akorede.
Good evening, sir. My name is Samuel. Student level accounting.
Nice to have you on the call. Lois Toluwalobu.
Good evening, sir. My name is Lord Babarinde. I'm a foreign student at the Department of Sea and Applied Chemistry from Lancashire University.
Nice to have you on the call, Lois. Please, can you mute yourself, Barakat? Thank you. Messi Yanolua. Messi.
Good
Messi.
evening, sir. My name is Adekunle Messi Anoluwa, a final student from College of Nursing, University College Hospital, Ibadan.
Oh, nice to have you on the call, Messi. Messi Yola.
Good evening.
Good evening, Messi. It's nice. It's nice to have you on the call, Messi. NLC.
Good evening. My name is Unwoko Lilian. I'm currently a core member serving in Ibadan.
Oh, great. Nice to have you on the call, Lilian.
Thank you.
Adetayo Olashile. Ogundele Deborah.
Good
Hello,
evening, sir.
everyone. My name is Deborah Bisola Ogundele, a pathway student at Obafemi Awolowo University. I'm studying philosophy.
Nice to have you on the call, Deborah.
Good evening, sir.
Thanks.
Good evening, Olashile.
Good evening, sir. I'm Odetayo Olashile Joshua, a part 3 pharmacy student of Obafemi Awolowo University.
Nice to have you on the call.
Thank you, sir.
Ogunwale Matthew.
Hello, sir. Good evening, everyone. I'm Ogwale Matthew from Obafemi Awolowo University, part 4 students. Thank you.
Nice to have you on the call, Matthew. Oladejo Mary Oluwatoba.
Good evening, everyone. I am Oladejo Mary Oluwatoba, a 300 level student of law from from Obafemi Awolowo University. I'm glad to be here.
It's nice to have you on the call. Olawale Marvelous.
Good evening, sir. I'm Olawale Marvelous from the Faculty of Medical Rehabilitation, 200 level. It's nice being here, sir.
It's nice to have you on the call, Marvelous. Olawolemi. Oluwaseyi Fumi.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Oyewundi Oluwaseyifunmi, a pathway law student of Obafemi Awolowo University.
It's nice to have you on the call, Fumi. Opeyemi Abdulateef.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, sir. My name is Abdulateef Tawakali Tokpeyemi, a student of Obafemi Awolowo University, studying education and economics. I'm so happy to be here. Nice to meet you all.
Nice to meet you too, Opeyemi. Rachel Ajisafe. Then we take the last person.
Good evening, everyone. I am Rachel Ajishafe, a first-year law student at Olabisi Onabanjo University, Aboiwoye. It's so nice to be here.
So nice to have you on the call, Rachel. Hem.
Good evening, sir. My name is Oluwale Ladu Adedoyin Adesipilo, a fresh graduate of Manchester from the Lancashire University of Technology. It's a pleasure being here, sir.
It's a pleasure having you too. Precious. All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for our speaker just wanted to have a glimpse of where everyone is from. We had people that registered from different universities. and different parts of the country, from Kano, Kaduna, Zaria, Ibadan, to the east. Right. Please, can you mute yourself, Precious? All right. So we'll dive into our lecture now.
Okay.
Yeah,
thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you very much for introducing yourself. What I was trying to understand is the spread, the distribution of in terms of where we've come from and the kind of background that we currently have, which is going to form the backdrop for mostly, though not entirely so in the future, the backdrop for the kind of resources that will bring into the nation. And it's very interesting to see that we are in different field of studies with the hope of coming into the industries in this area and showing some leadership from there, or bringing some kind of expertise from this area into the nation building in the future. Okay, so if I bring myself back to so nice to meet you, and I hope that maybe someday we'll meet in flesh, or this kind of meeting will be part of something that some of you will be making references to later in the future. So if I bring myself back to the topic before us, leadership essentials for the 21st century. Now, as I was remarking on the idea of 21st century, that is no longer a new phenomenon. It depends on where you see it. Some people think this century became matured at the turn of year 2000 in terms of space, in terms of technology, in terms of uh, even the nature of politics that is being played, in terms of even warfare. So the world is changing in this century, and every year in it is another step toward the finish line. If I'm allowed to use that phrase, so it's not a new phenomenon. We are already in it. Some people that were born in the 2000s probably they hit the ground running, as it were. The age of enlightenment, or the era of enlightenment, they were born into it, so they have that advantage perhaps over the people that were born in the 90s and the 80s, because it is already happening. And it's so good that we are looking at essentials, what to equip ourselves with to be able to function well in leadership capacity in this century. So I've got 5 points I'll be speaking to this week, and the next time that we're going to meet. If I can't finish with a note today, I'll continue from where I will stop next times that we meet. So these 5 point if I should just introduce them to you. So the first one is empathy and emotional intelligence. So if there are things that a leader needs to have in this time, they need to be empathetic and be emotional intelligence. Of course, we will dive into this later on. The second one is some digital or technology literacy, and come with that is the understanding of the citizenship or the netizenship, because the world is moved online now, and we live online, we live and breathe online, we do everything now practically on the internet. So and it's as such, it's become an essential for leaders in this century to be able to have knowledge, to have netizenship or citizenship of the net, or netizenship, to be able to function well in their own private life and their public life as leaders. So the third point is adaptability and agility, ability to change with the dynamics of time, to catch up without wasting so much time, responding to the changes that will be happening around us. That will be the third point. My guess is that I'll probably park the third and fourth and fifth to the next time when we will be meeting. But by the way of introduction, I am outlining this today. The next point, or in terms of essential that we need to have, is our ability to manage our diversity in terms of being sensitive to issues around inclusivity and diversity, so that our differences do not divide us, rather should become a strength for us. So leaders should be able to have a very good skill in managing the diversity of resources and making sure that everyone, individual or uh, political blocks or geographical blocks, feel mainstreamed into the tranche of leadership in this time. Gone were those days that we call people or some certain people minority. There's no minority anymore. Everyone has got the voice in the light of the digitalization of the world. People can be in their the remotest part of the world and still function very well. So leaders need to know where all these people are to be able to capture them and mainstream them into the leadership that they are serving onto the people. And then the last um, if you like, essentials that I'll be dealing with is the issues of ethics, and we'll go into issues of corruption, issues of institutional failure, issues of social responsibility, issues of political responsibility as the time goes on. So these are the five issues I'll be speaking with largely. But today, I think I will just stay with the first two ones in terms of empathy and emotional intelligence. Now, what do we mean when we say when we refer to what do we refer to by empathy or emotional intelligence? Some people will say ability of the leader to be able to put others to put himself in others' shoes, and of course we will be asking ourselves, how many of our leaders today really are doing this, and what is the benefit of them being able to do that. So a good leader should be able to even kind of imagine what others are doing. Of course, we know that you may not have the physical opportunity or the actual opportunity to live other people's life. But yeah, with the benefit of imagination, with the benefit of exposing yourself to understanding the people around you, you'll be able to function. You'll be able to function from a position that is closer to them, from a position that they well recognize. Uh, and this is one thing that is already happening in the West. Though the West itself is changing, and I think the time that we used the West to model development, I think that age is passing. But I will still be drawing references to some of the things that made the West some kind of a beacon at the time that they so much function in that authority. So here in the West, the leaders they try to say, well, will represent the people, will reflect the lives of the people that we lead. And of course, as we know that in every demographics, or in every population, the rich are always a fraction of the population. So the mass of the population will be people living in poverty, people living in deprivation. So and if we look at someone like Barack Obama, he came up from a community mobilization or mobilizing community grassroots movement in the south of Chicago. He was able to understand the people. Of course, himself, we wouldn't say he went to Ivy League University. We wouldn't say he was poor or he was from that community, but his early work in politics meant that he was able to understand. He worked with the grassroots. He was able to understand the people from that community. And of course, I'm not asking any one of you to make yourself poor or to make yourself destitute, but you also know that when you become a leader in the community, you are also going to be the leader for the poor. You're going to be the leader for the rich, and for you to be able to drive any sense of empathy, you must have exposed yourself effectively to the experiences of others across the board. But as we have people in deprived states that to constitute a larger section of the society, then that means a leader or anybody that will become a leader should be conscious in understanding these demographics. So you need to know before you can be empathetic about them. And also the next uh, term to that, or in association to that, empathy and emotional intelligence is your ability to know yourself, your ability to understand yourself, and coordinate that understanding with the knowledge of others. And this is the way I explain this. If you have food in front of you, you are well to do, you could feed yourself, you have something to eat, and you have 10 other people around you that are hungry. Okay, now if you're emotional intelligence, you should be able to read the emotions of other people, and find a way to feed yourself without necessarily insulting other people, without pressing it in their face that, look, I've got, you haven't got. So being emotionally intelligent means that you are able to understand other people, and you are able to conduct your relationship in the knowledge, or with the knowledge of them that you already have. So, and that kind of help you to leverage, or to maintain some kind of equality in relationship, in the way that, far from those people, in a way that they could actually see themselves as being part of you. Now, people have different ways of achieving this. Some people, for sure, they'll say, okay, I've got my last child, I'm going to enroll this last child in the public school. Perhaps you can remember certain politicians that did that. Sometimes they go in Nigeria to say, well, I will take this child to a public school in a very poor community, so that the people can see that I'm part of them. But in the real sense of being genuine, a leader should have empathy and should have emotional intelligence. But these two cannot work unless you have sufficiently exposed yourself to the state of the other people, okay, and use the knowledge you have of these others to be able to carry your relationship with them. And when it comes to developing the policies or agenda, some sort of a political agenda for, by the way, I believe that the background to this group, or one of the things that this group want to achieve is raising leaders, of tomorrow, and political leadership as well. So I will be drawing a lot of references from the political anecdotes. Okay, I will be drawing some political examples in driving home my points. So you cannot say you are an empathetic leader or an emotionally intelligent leader by not understanding the people, and by not being seen or presenting yourself to be seen as putting other people, as putting yourself in other people's shoe. Okay, is very, very important. And the time that the nation is struggling to with cost of living, that is not the time that an emotionally intelligent leader will be going on a lavish holiday and spreading the splashing the pictures on the Instagram or the social media for other people to do. Even though in their private life they still exposed to some luxury, they need to come and present themselves as someone. I'm not saying that they should be pretending, but at least they should be drawing their actions, their policies with the understanding of the other. In that sense, so if they want to, at the beginning of every financial year, or they want to draw a budget, the budget must reflect their empathy. The budget must reflect the kind of intelligence they have. So I will now speak to the intelligence part of that complex O, empathy and emotional intelligence. Uh, when we talk about intelligence and within leadership and or political leadership space, we deserve, as a country or as an organization, we deserve the best of us to lead us. Okay, so the country faces the need to bring the best of us out to be our leader. We're not looking for the people that are dollars. We're not looking for the people that are not bright. We're not looking for the people that do not understand the population. We're not looking for the people that do not understand themselves. So we need the best of us, to be our leader. Now, also, we then face the need to develop the intelligence base, which fosters or serves as the propeller for any kind of political development or any kind of ideological development that we need that will require as a country to move forward or as an organization to move forward. We need a set of thinkers. We need people that have the capacity to be able to think for the nation. We need people that have the capacity to be able to think for the organizations. When there is a serious crisis, and I know we have a crisis of leadership, we have a crisis of economy, we have crisis of security in the country. We need people that will be able to form a base and think the nation out of that situation and think the organization out of that crisis. So if we do not put the best of us forward to constitute our leadership base, then we are already suffering a big setback, because when they go into the federal executive meeting, or they go into state executive meeting, or the organization goes into a board meeting, what happens in that board will be a disaster, because there's a lack of intelligence base, and they will not be able to foster or develop any kind of ideology or thought that will be able to propel the organization or to propel the state in the right direction. Now, this need for us to be intelligent or to develop our intelligence is double-edged. The side of it is to the person as a leader, and I'm speaking to you as young people that will assume the post of leadership. And I don't want to say tomorrow, from today, because you're already a leader in your own personal life, in your own student organizations, in your own local politics. And I really want to get all of you to become encouraged to not wait for the future, because the future is here. That was why I started the way I started this evening, to tell you that the issue of the future is not about the future, it's about now. So we need to know ourselves, and we need to know others. We need to develop the intelligence of ourselves, and we also need to develop the intelligence of others. And this is as an educator, as an academic in the business of raising training people through the university systems, and producing in our own capacity within my own field the leaders of thought in that area. We have that responsibility to know ourselves and to know others. We have that responsibility to make ourselves intelligent, and also to drive some sort of education of the other. I know we live in a very difficult time, in getting these things done and achieved, but it is achievable. And at this point, I want to draw on my first political reference. I'll be speaking about the life of Chief, well, not about his life, but about the philosophy of Chief Awolowo, Obafemi Awolowo. Awolowo had a theory of mental magnitude. If you have read about Awolowo, you would have come about this thought or this thinking about him. Awolowo believes that in the search of an enduring political ideology for Nigeria, okay, he developed the theory of, or he practiced, or he put into practice the theory of mental magnitude. Awolowo postulated that mental magnitude as a liberation ideology that will help fight against the rape of democracy, the destruction of the country, and strengthen the political class. Mental magnitude. What did he mean by that? He postulated that mental magnitude is a philosophical doctrine which derives from the theory of mind and body. Okay, with the assertion that the mental is superior to the physical. Now let me take that back again. So he made this analysis of the mind and the body, and he postulated that the mental is superior to the physical, and that is why we see people with physical disability being able to achieve great things, even that many physically able-bodied people cannot. So he put the emphasis on the mind. It says the physical is, the physical is inferior to the mental. And it says that the mental should take the control of the emotions, the desires, and the action of every man. And I want you to pause. at this moment as you listen to me and ask yourself that question. Within my language, I'm a Yoruba man, it says Ogbon Oju Agbara Lo. You ask yourself, am I as powerful mentally as I am physically? And how does this come into the leadership question? If you have people that are mentally weak, they will not be able to think situations through. They will not be able to come up with good ideas or the best of the ideas, perhaps in the moment of national crisis, in the moment of security crisis, in the moment of political crisis. We should not be led by the people that have not been tested mentally. We should not be led by the people. I mean, without mentioning certain names, when I see certain individuals, perhaps the name comes to your mind, showing muscles and flexing and showing gym sessions on the Instagram, and this person gets to the Senate chamber and spill garbage and rubbish. I said, well, you thought you were strong, but you're not strong. And I'll tell you a story. In 2015, I was in the doctoral room in Kingston University, and someone was talking about Nigeria and Nigerian politics. And they came to me and said, well, I've only met you, your doctoral studies, for 1 year, and I've met a great number of Nigerians. But when I look at your president, I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed. I don't think in the country that produced the likes of Wale Soyinka, the likes of Achebe, and the likes of, and it went on and on and on and on, and real out names. How come you end up with this kind of person in leadership? So, coming back to Awolowo was talking about the theory of the mind and of the body, with the assertion that the mental is superior to the physical element of the person and should take control of the emotions, desires, and actions of that man. So, ask yourself, how much? And I think that being here this evening is an attempt for you to build that mental resource of yours, that intellectual prowess of yours, that ability to think, ability to understand, ability to philosophize, the situation, and ability to come up with uh with a line of thought that will bring political situation, that will bring political solution to any problematic solutions, that situation that we might find ourselves. So Outlaw continues and says, the tripartite division of a man, is into his physical, his psychical, and the divine attributes. I'm not going to the divine attributes because then we will be delving into issues of spiritism, issues of spirituality, issues of metaphysicals. But let me just also invite you to kind of tease with that idea that the people in leadership, should they be ordinary people, the people that are very shallow, the people that are very paperweight, the people that uh, they are merely physical in all in all dimension? I will be interested in knowing what goes on in their psyche, and also being a spiritual person or a religious person. I will also want to know what sort of kind of spiritual convictions do these people have, and it's very very important.
Sir, we can't hear you, sir. Yes, since you are muted or
That's serious. All right.
but it's just about like 2 minutes ago.
2 minutes ago. Okay, well, let me just go back there. So I was referring. I went back to Awolow's mental magnitude theory. Okay, did you hear me from there when I started talking about this mental magnitude theory?
Yes, sir. We heard
Okay.
it to the point of spiritism and all. It was
All
just
right.
like 30 seconds. Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much. So I would kind of literally look down on an individual that is very, very shallow. Because if you have a shallow mind, you should not be trusted with leadership, because you need that mental muscle, to be able to function in the point of leadership. So we're not looking for people, for men that are ordinary. Okay, and I would explore this tripartite division of the physical, of the psychic, or the psyche of the person, and divine attributes. Okay, now without going too much into conspiracies of people being part of occultic, or being part of some spiritual sect, whatever. But I need to tell you that if I see a man that engages in or an individual, when I say man, I don't mean the biological man, okay? Because I'm aware that we have ladies in our midst, okay? I mean, if you see an individual that is so shallow, that is so paperweight, that is so light, and all they do is to deal with the physical, I don't think such people have the acumen, they have the strength. Or let me put it this way: if you see people that are not dedicated to thoughts, even beyond what they could see, or let me put it this way: if you see people that dedicate, to thought beyond what they could see, they are more likely to have transcended thinking about what they see. So it's an exercise that kind of prepares you. It's an exercise that kind of fortifies you to be able to have a broad view about the issues behind or before you. Now, as someone that is a Christian and engages in let me say the spirituality of that religion. Again, I'm not preaching religion, okay, and that is why I've referenced even individuals that have gone into some kind of what other people would say metaphysicals, or even occultism in that sense. I'm not preaching any of these, but what I'm saying is that leaders should be able to go beyond what is in front of them, and an example of that is the ability to engage with the unseen, is the ability for them to be imaginative. And out of their imagination, that is where ideas come from. That is where ideas come from. So I started from talking about empathy and emotional intelligence, and I move on into the requirement for the leader to be intelligent, to devote time beyond to businesses beyond physical business, things that are literally mundane before them, to be able to go into extraordinary thinking, extraordinary. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you, sir.
Yeah, great. Thank you very
I'm
much.
hearing you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. So I was talking about this tripartite division of the man, with into physical, into psychical, into and divine attributes. And of course, people that knew him knew that Aulo was beyond the mundane as a person. And in the political landscape of Nigeria today, certainly in the southwest, is someone that we reference to. And sometimes I ask myself, how much of people, of course, you can't reproduce an individual, but how much of people in the political space today are this deep? So, if we think we want to venture into the position of leadership, either within organizations or within the space of the state, of the nation state, we are not looking for ordinary people and ordinary men. We are looking for people that go that have the capacity to transcend beyond the sane, to transcend beyond the mundane, the ephemeral. So how then do we build this intelligence? I will be speaking about three waves of this. So the first wave is the production of the elite. Okay, and I'm not speaking from the class division now. I'm not speaking from the point of I am bigger than you or I am richer than you. In terms of intellectual uh, classism, okay, we need to produce the thinkers. That will be the first. They will be the first wave, and to a certain degree, I think Nigeria is very very blessed. Okay, either you want to talk about the intelligence of people like Madu Bello or Tafawa Balewa within their own philosophical space. Okay, or you want to talk about the Zik, or certainly you want to talk about Awolowo. And by the way, it wasn't only Awolowo. In the West, we had a lot of people in the cycle of thinking. So, as a nation, we can refer to those people as the first waves. Then we can talk about the likes of within academic space or the university space. We can talk about people like Shoyinka. Then you can think about your faculty and think about the first set of professors in your in your faculties that were Nigerians. So they will be the first waves. Every nation, every community, even organization, you have the people that will say, well, these are the people that are trailing the trailblazers. They were the pioneers. Now, I think we are very, very blessed with them. And then we need the second wave. The second wave is education the future educators. I think in my own assessment, this is where Nigeria as a country, we began to fail. Okay. And because it came to a point within the history of the country that it was no longer attractive to be an academic, to be an intellectual, because they've seen people that they consider not to be thinkers, and they are the ones that the society was exalting. So what's then is the attraction for us to keep that stock of people. And then the third wave is the maintaining the supply chain, keeping the resupplies of our thinkers, of our intelligence. And this is where I became very happy when David told me about this group, because I believe that, again, speaking, I don't know what happened in the political enclaves in the east and the north, but speaking from the west, we knew that Awolowo had the inner caucus, and he was more or less raising them as some sort of disciples. And through that, he was able to maintain the link between the first wave and the second wave before we had the political catastrophe of the military intervention that wiped that wave off. Okay, and then the third wave then became very damaged because there's no restock, there's no resupply, and the coming together of this group uh, then seem like they are addressing the shortfall in the third wave, which is a very very good thing. And at this point, let me sound this warning. Uh, the student, I think you need to think about how this group transcends the university space into the industry, into the life outside university. Most student organizations live and die within 4 or 5 years, especially when the pioneers, when the founders leave the student space. In most places, they were not able to look back to maintain that organization or those organizations. And then you go back to campus, you find those organizations, they are disappeared. Before I got into University of Ibadan, I knew of a group called the Tuesday Group. They used to do things like literary, poetry, creative writing, and that produced the likes of Remiraji in Ibadan. That produced the likes of Ari Garba and of blessed memory of what they used to do on campus in those days. Then they disappeared. By the time we came to UI, of course, I got to UI in the 2000, early 2000, and we also formed the Ibadan Writers Club, and we were there for the 5 years. I was the longest member because I did 5 years. Also, some people left before me. I left some people back, and each time I look back into the school, maybe 2 or 3 years after I graduated, the organization died. So, and these were channels of our supplies. We know that the Nigerian university system is become narrowed and narrowed and narrowed in terms of their contribution to nation building. they're focusing more on pedagogical things, on syllabus and curriculum things. Well, that's okay, but we don't go to university for that alone. I believe that being part of this kind of organization or this kind of event is part of the mechanism that is maintain that should maintain that third wave. Again, I remember the SDM, no, DSM, no SDM, Democratic Socialist Movement. When we were on campus, I was a member when I was in Polybadan. Then when I went to UI as well, I functioned. But before I left the university, I could see the organization winning and winning and winning. You go to Sona meetings or regional meetings, you discover that fewer people were coming until a point that you go to the campus, you say, "Oh, do you know the DSM?" People say, "Who?" Okay, so you could see that we need to ask that question of how do we build this third wave? How do we keep the supplies? And I think, and this is what kind of attracted me when David told me about this group. That I said, well, I think this is one of the missing link. This is one of the missing link. Maintaining the resupplies of our intelligence base. Okay, I don't know how frequently you meet, but when you meet, what do you do? Okay, what are the things that you exercise yourself with? I remember in those days when we go to DSM meetings, we usually start with what we call the state of the nation, and this is okay. So we usually start with. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. So we
Yes,
usually start.
sir.
Yeah, we usually start our sessions with the state of the nation. This is where people come to discuss things that are going on in their communities, stories they have read in newspaper, items they've listened to on news. Then we go into state of the continent. We'll talk about development on the African continent. Then we'll go global. What do we think is happening? What we're expecting from China? What we're expecting from Russia? And at that space, you keep the mind grounded. And the people that participated there, they have a very broad appeal. So they were beyond what is in front of them. They became deep thinkers. And again, unfortunately, how many of them then fed or eventually became fed into the leadership structure of the country? I can't really see, at least certainly from my 8 years around the group. I have not thought of one of them that have become either a senator or a House of Rep member or a governor even. And of course, my age mates are already running the country. So that third wave became very disappeared. And this is an appeal directly to you that just in everything that happens, just make sure that you do not fizzle out, you do not become vaporized, you do not get lost. And I think I can explain what happened to that third wave in our sense. Most of us jackpot. Well, I didn't jackpot. Okay, that's a different discussion because of my definition of jackpot. Actually, it's different from what most people think it is. But if you think about people being dislocated, I can tell all those former comrades, where are they now? Australia, Canada, America, UK, out with, and we began to leave the space, for the charlatans, for the people that we think are not elite in terms of thought, or the people that we think they've not been educated, and I'm not talking about the degrees, to the people that we thought they were never, prepared or produced, and they had no base really. So if I kind of backtrack where I started from, a leader in this 21st century, the essential is that you should be able to understand your ecosystem, your political ecosystem, your economic ecosystem, and your understanding of those measures would then help you on the way you relate with them. Okay, and if you become someone that is responsible with leadership or that has responsibility with leadership assignment, you then be able to manage those responsibility with your intelligence or on how emotionally intelligent you are. And then I've gone to talk about these theories of mental theory of or mental magnitude that was postulated by Awolowo, his division, and I've tried to relate that to how an individual should prepare himself, and also I have kind of spoken to the conscience of the society or of the community, on how we built this intelligence base in terms of the first wave, which kind of all disappeared. In the second wave also that are becoming very half baked and in fact, people say to you now that if you see anybody in academia now, it's because they couldn't function, they couldn't excel. And to some level, it is so, except for very very few. When I was leaving UI, the people with first class and all of that, they went straight into. In fact, there was a story in tech, in engineering. There, two individuals with first class. The university told them to. Of course, it was in the news in Unilag as well, when the vice chancellor was saying, "All are bright and brilliant. We offer them job, they leave us, and they go." And it's because as a nation we have not actually looked at maintaining the educators of the future or educating the future, and that is why it's left. You have a lecturer that still regurgitates the notes from 15 years ago, or even some teachers that could not even solve their own equations on the board. So these are sport or the junctures that are critical, and then that third wave, which gives me joy that your organization, you're coming together, is building that. And that was the reason why I asked you to tell me more about yourself. I've seen people from the medical field, I've seen people in education, I've seen people in building, in engineering, I've seen people in law, political science, seen people in nursing, English department, and all of that. So pharmacy even. So we believe, I believe certainly that you will be able to function from these all these areas, and you're one of the people that will be carrying the future into your shoulder by becoming intelligent. Okay, and I have talked about how to acquire this intelligence. So I would like to stop for questions here, but I know that I've only talked about the first, the first essential, which is empathy and intelligence, emotional intelligence. Or maybe let me just quickly talk about this second one, and then I stop onto the next time. Digital literacy and understanding the netizenship. Okay, of course we have that famous pronouncement by Mrs. Goodluck. I say, oh, all those people, they're analog. They're analog. I mean, she was saying some stuff there, talking about or her own idea of how digital or digitalize the regime of her husband was, or the government of her husband was. But coming from that comic, the comedy of that statement, we know that the world has become digitalized now. You are in different places. I'm here speaking with you. I would say 30 years ago, maybe the only thing I could do is to speak over the phone. I never used. Yeah, Google was around, but I did my first degree project without Google. Okay, and you could see how we have come from that time. I'm talking about some 18 years ago, 20 years ago, to where we are now. And that was why I made the analogy that you guys, when you were born into 2000s, you were born into the most active part of the world. Okay, there's a crossover. There's a crossover of market and politics. Okay, and your ability to function well in your work in the marketplace also could be. I believe I'm one of the people that believe that when the politics fail, I believe that market can rejuvenate the politics. Okay, and that's another theory, and maybe I'm not speaking so much about that today. But uh, maybe by the way of introduction, let me just say market also drive political development. Market also drive political development. We had a prime minister in England in 2003 that only lasted for 5 days because the market rejected her. Okay, so and if all of you then go into market to function as accountant, as marketers, as lawyers, as economics, and all of that, so we can. That's another loop to look back into politics, and all of this is taking place within the undercurrent of digital revolution. The world becoming very knit together, woven together. So in the very direct word, I would say to you, if you want to become a leader in this generation, you also need to be tech savvy. You need to know the internet. You need to know all the back streets of internet and all the things that we could do with technology. More than half of Nigerian population today were born after 1999. Okay, that's some more than 125 million people. Now, if you look at the voting pattern, I don't think we've got 25% of the population participating in an election. The next two elections in Nigeria will be having 75% of the eligible voters becoming part of these demographics. So the field is blown wide open. Okay, and I believe that we'll be able to effect certain changes with our technological know-how. The leaders must know and understand netizenship. Okay, we know how elections have been affected, influenced around the world through technological either meddling or interventions. The work of Cambridge Analytical or Oxford Analytical in major elections here, where people crunch data to make targeted demographics to for political change. And of course, sadly, we know that Charlie Kirk was shot in America, but he was an example of someone that understood what goes on in the media. And I think if he had lived longer in the next two elections in America, his name would have been on the ballot box for presidency in America. Okay, so for you to become a leader in this 21st century, you need to understand that space and equip yourself. And beyond just going on TikTok or Instagram to see what is going on there, a lot of people are making their livelihood legitimately. I'm not talking about Yahoo now. Making their money legitimately on the internet or being enabled by the internet. And we have a lot of revolution going on in the marketplace being driven by the internet. Okay, a lot of the economy is being driven by digital economy now. I'm not even talking about digital currency. Okay, so and I believe that market also could redeem the political space at some point. I think, and we are very close to that point where the market will be dictating what the state should do. So be prepared, equip yourself with digital literacy, and understand netizenship. I think I'm going to stop here today, and then I'll come back to you for comments, for questions. Over to you.
Thank you so much, sir. It's been such a great time learning from you and the different ideology of people and how we need to onto our position as young individuals, and we don't have to wait for the tomorrow to come. One of the popular phrases I tell some of my friends is that you don't have to wait for the tomorrow to come. The tomorrow is now. We have to take actions where necessary. And this is like the grassroots where the changes needs to begin from. And take for an example, if you see a tree that grows in the bush, it's the work of the roots. The roots have gotten deeper into the water. So if we want a society like us to have a great change, that means that we are also ready to make the change. And I often make an illustration of the Chinese bamboo tree that is being planted and doesn't grow for up to 4 years. And people will think that, oh, this Chinese bamboo tree is dead. And after 4 years, within few months, it grows up to 6 feet tall. So that is an example of what the foundation is doing. And thank you so much for opening our eyes to a lot of things. So it's that we are trying to get into the roots, trying to get deeper into certain things that is to be known in the society. And by an extension of that, we'll be able to take the right action in the country, take the right action in the society after touching all of these roots and the essentials for future leaders and the essential for leaders in this 21st century. So as young individuals, we need to take actions. As young individuals, we need to know that the development of this country, the development of the world is on our shoulders. The change has to begin from us. If we wait for others to make the change, we might not have the change. So that is why we need to put in some of those things. And we've had a great time with Dr. Babarinde. So if you can just react with any emojis of yours to just appreciate him. It's been such a wonderful time with him. So we'll just take a few questions before we round off today, this session. So just to make it more orderly enough, I'll ask you at that time to unmute your microphone and ask your question. But before then, this is our third session. We started, or you just raise your hands. So just raise your hands, then I'll call you to make it more orderly enough. So this is our third session. We've had speaker Reverend John Jinka Adepoju speak on leading with purpose in the last 2 weeks. And now we have Dr. Ibikunolu Babarinde speaking to us today. And the last session will come up tomorrow, next week, Saturday, by God's grace. So just write your name down in the chat box for your attendance, and you should be rest assured that attendance of 3 sessions guarantees your certificates. So, and then for now, we are just present on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We are working to get our presence on LinkedIn so that you will be able to. Please, can you switch? Okay, sorry about that. So if you are just joining the call, kindly mute your microphone and, if possible, switch off your video to avoid distraction. So thank you so much. So just write down your name in the chat box, and then once we are done with the session, we are done with this series, we endeavor everyone to post and comment on our social media platforms about the lessons you've learned in the past few weeks, and also follow us, engage our post. And from there, we would also engage your post. Tell us what you've learned in the last few weeks. That will be coming up after our series, after this session, when we will have gotten the certificates over to you. And I believe that this is just the beginning of many online leadership series that I'll be having in the foundation. And if you are just knowing about the Intelligentsia Leadership Foundation, the foundation is about raising global leaders. It is about making sure that we serve as catalysts for global leadership. It is about making sure that we are the conscience of global leadership. And sometimes we'll see the society we have, that we have different leaders there who complain, who nag, who say a lot of things, but we are not taking the right decision that is necessary. So it is for us to take the right decision intellectually, not causing chaos in the society, but taking it in a gradual process to make sure that there is a progressive realization of leadership, and we're starting from the grassroots, with youth being our targeted audience. So that being said, we would start taking our questions, and I would like to call on the first person to take our question, Edna Pearl, then followed by Opeyemi. And then you can also write your question in the chat box. So you can, after Opeyemi and Pelumi, just write your question in the chat box. From there, we'll read it out so as to have this in a well-orderly manner, because we have like 50 people on the call now. If everyone is raising their hands and you don't get to call everyone, it might not feel good. So, Pelumi, you can unmute yourself and ask your question. Thank you.
All right. Good evening, sir. So thank you very much. So my question, I jotted it while the class was on, so I would read from the book. So the question is, how can one manage or balance being a decisive leader who takes responsibility for tough calls with being an inclusive leader who empowers others to contribute meaningfully to decisions? Hope you understand the question, sir.
Yeah, can you repeat the first part?
Okay, I said, how can one balance being a decisive leader who takes responsibility for tough calls with being an inclusive leader who empowers others to contribute meaningfully to decisions?
Okay, thank you very
Thank you,
much.
sir.
Yeah, that's a very good question. And as you were raising those questions, I remember some of the things that I've taught in the class. There are two patterns of leadership there. So the one that engages every other person, we can say, well, this is a democratic leadership style, okay, by bringing every other person, including every other person into decision making, and which is good. The first one that I thought, okay, well, this is a tough call. I need to do this myself. You can say, well, this is a kind of autocratic leader because you're taking the relationship, the responsibility to take the decision by yourself. Maybe there's a third part that says, okay, well, I don't care, whatever. Anybody can just, well, we will kind of make it up along as we go. I will see whether a situation where I will take the decision, or maybe in another situation, I'll allow everybody to be part of it. So what I want to say is that there's no one approach that is the best. You look at the situation in front of you. Sometimes the context of that decision making means you need time. I'll be talking about agility and adaptability next week. You need to make that decision. You need to make that call immediately. Then people trust your decision because of the kind of preparation you have had. You did not just emerge as the leader. You have gone through this first wave, second wave, third wave, as I've spoken about. So before you even assume that position of leadership, you are made. The process that produced you have kind of safeguarded your ability to make a very good decision at that time. So the organization is safe. The state is safe for you. Now, in times where you thought, okay, I need to go to the people now. Maybe the context also allows that. Okay, then you bring them in. But there are times that a leader would not even tell other people to say, let's get involved now. And this is very important. If that followership is not prepared, they are not enabled, they are not empowered to make that decision, you will be endangering the life of that organization, the life of the state, to say, okay, now we give votes to 12-year-old because we want to make it inclusive. We'll give a vote to a 10-year-old because we want them to be part of it. So you look at the context, and this can go into contingency types of leadership and all of that. So I would say full understanding. I spoke about empathy and emotional intelligence as well. Full understanding of the context would nudge you, okay, to take the right decision, whether to bring others in, whether to go it all alone, or whether to just say, well, whatever comes out of it, we go through it. So there's no one approach that is the best. Now, when you want to encourage others, this is now the caveat. Make sure that the followership has been prepared, they've been groomed, they've been developed to the point where you can trust their leadership or their involvement in the process of decision making. And that is why this is where it then fits into the first wave and second wave and the third wave. So there's no one straight answer to it. It depends on the situation where you find yourself. But a good leader would know the right thing to do at the right time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. So, Opeyemi Abdulati, if you can speak now, then we'll take other questions from the chat box.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for the. I really, no, I learned a lot from this session, and it's such a pain that I'm just joining for the first time. Actually, sir, please, can everyone hear me?
I can hear you.
Thank you, sir. So, you talked about being a leader have to like to be digitally inclusive and all, be empathy, have empathy and emotional intelligence. Thank you so much for sharing that. Actually, I have some experience which I actually failed, but then I learned a lot due to getting involved in this kind of leadership position. My question is this: now the internet, actually, Twitter is was one of these internet app that we get the right to information from before, but right now it's even been filtered. They don't share the right to information, and this netism they change what is right. People don't really know what is true from what is right. Like as a student, without making like a long research, because right now if you want to know the right information, get the right first hand information, is either you're following people that are on the right track, or you make research on it. Like the Charlie Kirk that is ongoing, he was one of those people that used to that talked about black people as a bad person, as wicked people that they should be killed and all. But right now, it is even those black that we are even celebrating his death. That so some people don't they don't really know what is true. They don't know what is false. I want to ask, like as a student, sometimes we'll be busy from probably schoolwork and other stuff that might constrain us from searching more and researching more on things. Like which of the internet can we go to make to get this rightful information and truthful information from that has not been filtered apart from making research, sir? That's my
Okay,
question.
thank you very much. You've actually touched on so many important things. We live in a very plural world now. We live in a very porous world. We live in a very controlled world. In some, of course, if you're following what is happening in Nepal, the country just put a padlock on Twitter, on Facebook, and then the Gen Z went berserk. Okay, now, there is strengths and weaknesses. There are advantages and disadvantages in this kind of development, and the people that know how to use it are now using it to control others. Now, as an academic, or from an academic point of view, I normally teach my students to disagree, okay, to be critical, and of course, to some extent as well. I do this with my children. One day, we read the passage from the Bible, and I asked my children, "Why do you believe this? Why should you believe it?" So now, without going into without pontificating, the point I want to make is that always question whatever you read. Always question whatever you read. Do not think there's a source that is absolute. Do not think there's a source that is totally a lie. Now, if I start from the Palestine-Israel crisis, or go to Russia-Iran crisis, and the media report that is coming out, you hear the two sides of the same story. Okay, so as an individual, whenever I want to look at, if I want to global politics, so I'll go to the one on the Western Voice, the very conservative press in the West. I also go to see what China is saying, what uh, Russia is saying, what Al Jazeera is saying. So, and that makes you a grounded person. So, on the same issue, you have had report from 3, 4, 5 different point of view, and there's something we call triangulation. So you are able to make a point by bringing sources at least from 3 different areas, and interrogate each piece of information with a report from both sides, and that is why you will be able to live your life in peace. Okay, and this is what I say to my students. I say, well, look, some people say there's God, some people say there's no God. Okay, why should anybody kill anybody because of that? Okay, just be open to different ideas, but know that there will be other people that have other side of their own story. So, in a nutshell, to answer your question, the answer is that read more. Now, in history, people say, well, this is a false historical account. Of course, as you're following this Ife thing, this is a Oni of Ife, laughing for your kind of supremacy, and all of that, or kind of Shaki supremacy, and all of that. I say to people, every history, either lies written in it, truth written in it, everyone should read it. But it is the responsibility of the reader to have the assumption that somebody may be lying to me. Now, if you read Ijai, by Akinwo Mishola, of the same economy war story, and you read Olarotime's economy, the account of the same civil war, okay, but they have different heroes. One make economy and hero, the other one make Ogunmola and hero in the same story. So I would say read as much as possible, read as wide as possible, and when you make up your mind, so that would be my answer to that. So it's not. And this goes back to when I was talking about leader being able to be grounded, developing your intelligence, going beyond. Can we mute that person? Going beyond what is on the surface, an ability to look underneath. And that's how you're gonna. But as you do this, you begin to see the sectioning, you begin to see the categorization that is the left of the politics, this is the right of the politics, this is the center of the politics, this is the Western agenda, this is the global South agenda, and you'll be able to make sense of all of this. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir, for that answer. And then we'll take the questions in the chat box now. So if you are just joining the call, just make sure you put down your names for attendance. It's very important. So we have a question from Matthew Buwali. Okay. A question from Matthew Buwali that says, concerning what you said that markets also drive political development, I want to ask, how does global market trend affect local economics?
Local economics or local politics? Okay, I take the liberty to interpret that question. Local economics, we know if dollar becomes stronger, you need more naira to get $1. Okay, if dollar becomes weaker, you need less naira to get $1. Okay, and that is when Lagos will say, "Oh, naira has rallied." Well, is it naira that actually rallied, or pound that kind of lost value, or dollar that becomes weaker? So global markets affect local markets, especially when you do international trades. You sell to them, they buy from you. So, and this is the idea when people devalue their currency. Okay, we devalue our currencies that people can buy more of our goods, and then we'll get more money through that. That's the thinking like that. Quantitative easing in America. Well, what we're going to do is that we're going to print more money, and well, so that we can be able to buy more. And when we buy more, we profit more. Then our organization, our economy strengthens. There's a thinking, the neoliberal market, or the neoliberal ideology will say states should not control markets should operate freely, and this is the idea of free market, that I as a person will determine how much it costs me to make this iPhone. Then I will determine how much I'm going to sell it. I will determine how much I'm going to pay my workers. Okay, I will determine my own profit. And in all those decisions, if you make your phone and then the another person comes with their cheaper phone, okay, instead of a government fixing the price of the phone, the market is already regulating itself. So those are the ideas of a free market. But should market be totally free? I would say no. In terms of essential services, imagine somebody got the ability to make oxygen that will breathe, and then they say to you, "This is how much you're going to pay for the oxygen." Then, in those essential services, the state need to come in and become an actor to say, "Well, you can sell it, but state will make their own oxygen, and this is how much you're going to make it available for the citizenship." So that's a way the global economy intertwines and breathe and flow into each other, but the bigger always become more powerful for the smaller. Okay, and this is where each country need to be very sensitive to what is going on internationally and make sure they are not on back foot. They are not sleeping. They are also finding an area to become player in that global market. But I think without going too much into Nigerian politics, I think Nigerian politics and Nigeria state will benefit more from intervention or the leading of the market. But God save us that the people dominating the market are not Shylocks.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. And then we have another question from Abdulatif Temitope that reads about the market that you mentioned, which drives political development. Looking at the country Nigeria, is there a time when this happened? Judging from the experience, it is tribal/ethnic drive that drives Nigerian politics. So, as a youth, how can you be a changing tool?
Okay. Thank you. There are three layers to that question. Several things in Nigeria. Well, they say if they explain Nigeria to you and you understand it, they didn't explain it very well. Because we seem to be defining many theories, many political theories, but there's a sense, there's a method in our madness. Okay. Nigeria is a very complex place. Of course, I can be quoted on this. We should not be a country. Okay, I think we are more than one country in one country. So I mean, Who will say we know that is a bad president, but leave him there because it's from my town? Who says that? We know that this guy is ruining our economy, but leave him there because it's from my tribe. So we know about that, and it's an anomaly. But even in the middle of that, in our political history, we have seen situations or times where economic development has forced political changes. We can look at the oil boom, okay, and whether it was able to keep certain people in power because they saw money, and there were times that people felt, what am I doing in government? I'll be better off in the industry. So in an ideal world, there's a flow in between both of them. And of course, in Nigeria as well, we could see deregulation. That's a response to the market. We could see how Dangote is coming into, and whatever we think of it, we believe that some people can see whatever benefit that comes out of Dangote becoming a major player in the local oil economy sector and attribute it to the ingenuity. No, is it ingenuity now? Yeah, to the brilliance of the president to say, okay, well, if a president can kind of relax the regulation and makes all these people come in and it becomes better for everyone, then that person is a good politician. Now, what we are seeing is we are looking at the impact of the market and politics. Yeah, I agree with you that Nigeria is more tribal in terms of our politics, and it's a shame. It's a shame that that is where we are. We're still at. I've been in meetings where people say leave that vice chancellor in place because it's from our turn and it's our turn to produce the vice chancellor in this school. So just leave him. Whatever he does there, leave him. Let him do his tenure and go. And I will be speaking about this next week, actually, on how we can manage our diversity and inclusivity, not to bog us down. Thank you for that question.
Okay, we have another question from. Thank you so much, sir, for explaining that well. We have another question from Israel Damilari Adeliki that says, after voting him in, you realize the leader is not competent, and he consistently makes terrible decisions that could be dangerous to the people, yet doesn't admit his incompetence. What do you do?
Okay. We know democracy. To me, I think I've discussed this with David in the past. I don't think democracy is the best form of governance. So democracy, they say, is the tyranny of the majority. So if the majority forces that leadership on everyone, then so be it. Everybody will dance to the tune. However, in a very sane world and strong institutions, there must be checks and balances. Okay, there are impeachable offenses. People can be impeached because they are incompetent. Okay, and but if you have a weak organization or weak institutions or weak weak constitution within the organization that meant that the president or the leader of such organization cannot be challenged or changed, then that's even another problem at a layer. But in an ideal world, there should be a situation where you can check and that's why we have different arms of the realms of the state. You have a functional press that continues to hold him accountable, and we used to do this even student days. I remember writing I have an article about our warder is mad again. Of course, people knew I was talking about the warden in the hall, and we have articles, very popular articles in UI those days. Comrade Pass, Come and Raid. We were talking about the people in government, and then they write a rejoinder. Journalist Pass, join our list, and you could see how all those different elements of the setup was holding every other person in accountable. But when you have a situation that there's no provision to remove the president, do not elect someone that you cannot remove.
Thank you so much, sir. That was so awesome. So that's all for the questions in the chat box, and I believe that's all from everyone. We have been able to maximize our time well. We are just 5 minutes before the end of the call today, and we really enjoyed today's session. I'm not going to lie. And then we've been able to work with us getting a Zoom Pro so that we don't get caught in intervals. And it will be so easy for us to upload to our YouTube and share with anyone that miss any parts of the session. And once again, we want to thank everyone for joining us on the call. Before I continue, I just want to take a closing remark from our guests, sir.
Okay, thank you very much for this opportunity, and I thank every one of you that have been here today for this session. And I hope we will not be lost in the midst of all of this. We'll be able to follow through. You have started well, I will say, and I hope that you'll be able to keep the fire burning in you to the point where you one day become one of the significant leader in whatever space you find yourself, be it politics or in the industry. So thank you once again.
Thank you so much, sir. We really appreciate you. And also, thank you everyone for joining the call. We look forward to seeing you next week when the session will be rounding off. And then do want to follow us on our social media platform on Facebook, on Instagram, and on Twitter. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel as we'll be dropping some of our videos from our recorded sessions there. If you miss any part of the meeting, you can do well to listen to or watch the videos. And then by the end of this leadership series, we would like to take testimonies from you and a feedback from you on what you've learned in this last 4 weeks. You can post on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can tag us. You can tag the speaker. On Twitter is at Ibukun, small letter Ibukun Babarinde, all written together. On Facebook, it's Ibukun Babarinde. Ibukun has a diacritics, the Yoruba, the Dumi, Babarinde. And then on Instagram as well, Ibukun Babarinde. And then our previous speaker, Reverend John Jinka Adepoju. On Facebook is John Adepoju. And on LinkedIn as well, Dr. Ibukun Olu Babarinde and John Jinka Adepoju. Thank you so much, everyone. So we'll move now to our group to take some of the lessons you've learned from today and your observation. And we look forward to seeing you next week. It's such an awesome time. Really appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. See you next week.
Yeah, bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Bye.